Cable fans, I got some underappreciated keys you might want to check out. Yes, that's right. I've got the wrong intro still because it's a rebranding week here on the John's Comics with Friends YouTube channel. I am John. I'm here to talk a little bit about Cable, one of my favorite characters growing up as a kid. Was never a huge Deadpool fan, loved New Mutants, was a big fan of Cable, and I could never afford his first appearance. But thankfully, my friend White Whale Comics gave me a deal at one point when he was getting rid of his New Mutants issues, and that's how I got that issue. But I've always really liked the character, you know, battle commander, leader, teacher, kid from the future, easily the best that the Summers family has to offer. Yes, shots fired, not a big Summers family fanboy here. I've taken a lot of shots at Scott and Gene, and even a little at Alex over the years, as far as not being a big Summers fanboy. And Corsair, we don't even we need to talk about him. And there's a third brother, if you didn't know, we don't need to talk about him either. However, there is, and this was thanks to the Krakoan era of comics, of X-Men comics, another Summers character worth your time. And this is Hope. Yes, we can hold out hope for a quality Summers character. And Hope Summers, the adopted daughter of Cable, is a really interesting character who has been in and out of the comics in different ways at different times. But in the Krakoan era, really got a moment to shine as the leader of the five, those characters who were helping with resurrection on the Krakoa Island. They really did a lot to bring her characters to a place that seemed true to the backstory they had given her as sort of this Messiah like character. So what I did recently was pick up the two major keys for Hope, and that includes Cable number 21, which is this awesome cover by Krasinski. Was it that's Umberto Ramos, I think, maybe cover, but great cover. Cable, that's here she is, Cable 21. This is the adult version of Hope coming from the future to was an X-Men issue 205, and I snagged this book recently too. You might be like, John, these aren't like super expensive. Why did you wait so long to snag these? Well, firstly, because I really was not familiar with the character. She sort of came into being during the time when I wasn't reading a lot of X-Men. I took a big break from comics when I was in college. And as I came out of college, X-Men didn't interest me as much. The writing wasn't as strong. The characters were ones I was unfamiliar with. And so I took a big break. And I didn't really come back with gusto until Hickman's era. And that's when I fell in love with the character. But then her popularity in that era meant those books were more expensive. So I've been waiting for those books to come down. And just recently, I felt like the price point for the raw copies was right where I wanted them, and I snagged those books. So if you are unfamiliar with that character, Hope Summers, and you're a Cable fan, might be worth going back to reading some of those storylines where you get to see her journey to our timeline. And then during the Krakoan era, obviously she had a lot of beautiful moments to shine, including her, I guess we'll say, beautiful, tragic end, because the way they used her at the end of that storyline in the White Room seems to imply that she is the core of the Phoenix Force in some way, that her abilities as far as resurrection and death are intertwined with the Phoenix Force. And it was a really interesting finale for her character. And I don't know what it'll mean long term, but I do like how they ended her story. It worked really, really well. Speaking of which, I've also been picking up some issues that I was missing for one reason or another during the Krakoan era. If you were in the live stream I did a couple of weeks ago when I was going through my Krakoa books and reorganizing them, you might have noticed me jumping on eBay and snagging some books like X Factor issue 2, which was the only one I was really missing from the original, or from the Krakoa era run. So this one is one I snagged recently. That was by Leah Williams, is the artist on that, or the writer on that one. And then Uncanny Spider-Man. I don't know how I missed issue 4. I must have read it digitally because I definitely know the story, but somehow I couldn't find issue 4 in my collection. So there it is. If you're a Nightcrawler fanboy like this guy, this was a very fun and entertaining storyline for him and gave him another fun connection with Peter Parker. I also grabbed this Inferno variant with Magneto. These Jeff DeCall covers are fantastic. I particularly love the Destiny. There's a Mystique that's really, really great. There's a Moira one. So that, yeah, several really great covers that are connecting in this Inferno series. Worth the time if you have not seen those. Just gorgeous. And that last one came from Monkey Butt Comics on eBay, and they threw in some books. So they also threw in a Batman and Robin fun tentacle cover there, which I have no clue what that's all about, and Godzilla versus Spider-Man. So I might throw those into a giveaway at some point here. I don't know what I'll do with those, but I appreciate that they threw in some extra comics. So there you go. Some of the books I've been hunting and picking up lately, not mega keys, but under the radar key books. And if you're familiar with Hope Summers or Nathan, you might have some interest in their progeny and their relationship, right? So really some kind of fun stuff there. Huge thank you to the channel members, the people that are supporting John's Comics with Friends. It's new evolution here. People who keep the little StreamYard lights on for me and make it possible to keep making fun content for all of you. As a reminder, I'm going to be doing Dungeons and Dragons with the comic book community coming up here in about a month. This is something that'll be ongoing on my channel, a live stream with me and several community members that you saw with their logos there. Where we've been playing on other people's channels, it's going to move to my channel so that I can, I don't know, try my hand at being a dungeon master. Let's see how well that goes. I appreciate everybody coming by. Let me know, how do you feel about the Summers family? Who is your favorite Summers? I'm telling you right now, for me, it's just this guy.